Hey guys! Tonight we sail into the sultry heat and mossy stillness of ancient Philippine shores, where the coconut trees bend like lazy giants over rivers whispering through the jungle. The air is thick, fragrant with wet earth and the smoke of slow-burning wood, while a quiet rhythm echoes from nearby huts, tap, 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 like an insect burrowing into your skin. You don't know it yet, but that's the sound of pain. Or beauty. Possibly both. You're about to become part of a very old story told not with words, but with ink, scars, and oil rubbed into flesh. Out here, your phone's dead, the nearest. Coffee shop is several centuries away, and mosquitoes are winning the war for your ankles. Oh, and you're probably not making it out of this with perfect skin. But hey, that's the price of timeless glory. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And I'd love to know, where are you listening from, and what time? Is it over there? Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're not sure who dropped you off on this island, but the moment your feet hit the warm sand, you know, something's different. There's a hush, like the island's holding its breath. You trudge inland past tangled vines and thick canopies until you reach a clearing where people gather. They don't seem surprised to see you. In fact, they're smiling. A young boy with jet black hair points at your unmarked arm and laughs. Not cruelly, just knowingly. You're bare, skin like blank parchment. Around you, every man, woman, even child is a masterpiece. Arms coiled with lizards, backs streaked with wave patterns, and faces etched with lightning bolts. You've wandered into the land of the pintados, the painted ones. Spanish. Colonizers centuries later would call them that with a mix of fear and fascination. But for the locals, it's just Tuesday. These tattoos aren't random. They tell the story of battles survived, spirits appeased, loves remembered, and rites passed. Historians still argue whether the designs originated more from decorative impulses or spiritual necessity, but the fact remains, no ink, no identity. You, my smooth-skinned friend, are invisible. Someone beckons. She's elderly but straight-backed, with eyes that look like they've watched stars rise and die. Around her neck dangle tiny tools, needle-thin thorns, shards of bone, and a polished bamboo comb with prongs blackened by soot. Her hands are already oily. Coconut oil, to be exact. Not just for cooking or hair gloss. Here, it's sacred. The base of life, protection, and yes, the medium through which ink becomes eternal. As you sit, legs folded, a breeze carries over a scent both sweet and metallic. You glance up to see smoke curling from a small fire where charcoal burns into soot, the ink's main ingredient. Coconut shells crackle as someone grinds them into dust. Meanwhile, someone else prepares your skin by massaging it with warm coconut oil, thick as honey. The oil opens your pores, soothes your nerves, and maybe, just maybe, keeps the gods from judging your screams too harshly. The first tap is shocking. Like a bee sting if bees use tiny swords. The old woman works fast, rhythmically tapping her, needle with a light stick, driving ink under the surface layer of your skin. You try not to flinch. You fail. A kid nearby mimics your wince and snorts with laughter. Pain is part of it. This isn't a beauty salon. Every drop of blood spilled is a sacrifice to ancestors, to spirits, to honor. You learn quickly that the placement of your tattoo is just as important as the design. Shoulders and chests are for warriors. Neck and forehead, reserved for the truly brave or foolish. And yes, tattoos hurt more the closer they are to the bone. You feel that truth settle in your collarbone like a thunderclap. But you begin to adjust. The tapping slows. The fire crackles. Someone offers you a drink. Fermented coconut. No label, no promises. You sip, and your lips go numb. You hear laughter, distant drumming, and someone weaving something behind you. Probably a mat. Possibly a net. Or maybe it's a hammock, and you're going to wake up in it wondering if this was all a coconut-fueled dream. Did you know that some ancient Filipinos believed tattoos glowed faintly in the afterlife, lighting your way to ancestral spirits? It's one of those lovely, unprovable ideas scholars can't quite agree on. Historians still argue whether such myths came before or after the practice itself, or if it was missionary exaggeration. But you sort of like the idea that long after the body fades, your ink still shines. There's a moment where your vision blurs, not from pain, but from something softer. You realize that what's happening here isn't decoration, it's transformation. Initiation, you're being rewritten. The artist leans back, inspects her work, and gives a single nod. Someone pats your back. Someone else pours warm coconut oil again, this time to seal it in, protect it, and ensure the skin doesn't crack. It smells faintly of toasted almonds and jungle rain. You lie back on a woven mat. Around you, the island hums. Frogs croak, birds trill, and something in the distance, maybe a monkey, maybe someone shouting for dinner, fades into the growing dusk. Your skin throbs in time with the drums. You feel different, slightly magical. Definitely sore, your first ink, a humble spiral over your shoulder blade, nothing fancy. But now, you belong. You wake the next morning with that familiar, itchy tightness where the ink has settled. A dull throb reminding you that yesterday's ceremony was no light-hearted decoration party. But as you sit up and rub the sleep from your eyes, you notice something extraordinary. The tattoos around the village seem alive. Not literally glowing, though wouldn't that be neat? But pulsing with meaning, like they speak a language you're only starting to understand. You remember the term the locals whispered to you the night before, pintados. It means the painted ones. And these aren't mere doodles. They are stories, social contracts, badges of honor, and status markers inked into flesh. You find yourself gazing at a nearby warrior whose entire torso and arms are a swirling tapestry of black lines and geometric shapes. Each curl and dot you learn corresponds to a tale. Battles fought, enemies bested, even acts of kindness and generosity. Warriors like him wear their histories openly, and they're proud. These tattoos are not just for show. They are the currency of respect. The more tattoos you bear, the higher your place in society. A simple scratch of ink could mean the difference between sitting at the chief's table or watching from the sidelines. What fascinates you is how methodical this inked language is. Unlike a hastily drawn tattoo at a roadside parlor, these marks are earned, sometimes over years. One story tells of a warrior who had to defeat 3 rival chiefs before earning a particular jagged design on his forearm, each jagged spike symbolizing a victory. His tattoo served as a walking resume, intimidating foes and courting allies. Historians still argue whether these tattoos were purely social signals or had more mystical significance. Some argue that the markings served as spiritual armor, protecting the bearer from harm in battle and misfortune in life. Others suggest that they reinforced group identity in a fragmented archipelago where alliances shifted like the tides. Either way, they are undeniably powerful. Women, you notice, often sport different tattoos, subtle but no less meaningful. You spot a woman near the riverbank, her forearm etched with delicate swirling vines, symbols believed to enhance fertility and protect children. These markings, you learn, are gifts from the community's elder women, affirming a woman's place as nurturer and keeper of tradition. This tribal ink isn't a one-size-fits-all deal. Every island, every village, even every family might have its unique designs and rules. As you wander, you start spotting common themes: stars for guidance, waves for the sea's bounty, and animals representing traits like courage or cunning. One particularly quirky detail makes you smile. The ink wasn't just black. Some tattoos used soot, made from burning coconut husks mixed with the oil. This created a distinct smell described by early visitors as smoky and faintly sweet, which some believe deterred insects during the healing process. Imagine applying mosquito repellent and a badass tattoo all in one. Your eyes catch a group gathered around a large bonfire, listening to a storyteller recite epic tales of their ancestors. The storyteller's arms are a complex maze of ink, an open book of his family's triumphs and trials. It occurs to you how these tattoos also function as living archives, holding history in the skin itself. Before writing was widespread, what better way to remember your past than to carry it on your body? As you listen, the firelight dances across. The faces and ink of the pintados, you begin to understand why the Spanish conquistadors were so obsessed and terrified of these tattoos. They symbolized freedom and defiance. Tattoos weren't just art, they were power. But this power wasn't given lightly. The pain endured to earn each mark was part rite of passage, part test of strength. You can't help but notice that those without tattoos, usually the young, the weak, or the recently initiated, keep their distance from the elders, almost like ghosts waiting for their turn to step into the light. One elder chuckles as he notices your fascination. "Our tattoos speak before we do," he says, tapping his chest where a bold dragonfish coils. "They tell who we are, where we come from, and what we will become." You realize then that beneath the ink lies a deeply intertwined relationship between identity, community, and the land itself. The islands have shaped the tattoos as much as the tattoos shaped the islanders. Historians still debate how much influence neighboring cultures, like the Malays, Chinese, and later the Japanese, had on these tattoo traditions. Some designs bear striking similarities to patterns found across Southeast Asia, while others seem uniquely Filipino, born out of the island's particular history and environment. You lean back, tracing a finger along your still blank arm, wondering what your own ink might say if you were brave enough to join their ranks. Would it tell of a curious traveler, a reluctant warrior, or just someone who needed a really good mosquito repellent? As the sun climbs higher and the village wakes around, the sound of tapping resumes, another warrior adding lines to his tale, another history becoming skin-deep. The tools sit before you like an ancient altar, sharp, simple, yet crafted with surprising precision. You squint at the small, jagged pieces of thorn and bone and wonder how such humble materials could create something so enduring. There's a beauty to this. No fancy machines, no sterile clinics, just raw nature and human skill. A handshake between the island and its people. Your tattooist, a quiet woman with steady hands, explains how these tools work. She selects a thorn from a kamagong tree, its tip honed to a sharp point, perfect for piercing the skin without shattering. Next to it lies a small hammer carved from bamboo, light but firm. She dips the thorn into a thick black ink made from soot and coconut oil, then taps the thorn against your arm in a steady rhythm. Each tap deposits a tiny dot of ink under your skin, building a pattern that will last a lifetime. The coconut oil here isn't just a lubricant. It's the secret ingredient that binds everything. It makes the soot stick, keeps the skin supple, and soothes pain during the process. You recall how many modern tattoo studios use synthetic ointments and numbing creams. This ancient method, though less comfortable, relies on nature's pharmacy. You ask about the ink itself. How did they get it so black and lasting without modern chemicals? Your guide smiles, telling you the secret lies in burning coconut shells, until they produce fine soot, then mixing it carefully with cold-pressed coconut oil. The result is a dense, jet-black ink that seeps deep into the skin's layers. Interestingly, some artists use different sources for their pigment, charcoal from burned bamboo or mangrove roots, depending on the desired shade or local tradition. There's a rich palette hidden in these natural inks, much more than you expected. Historians still argue whether the choice of materials was purely practical or carried symbolic meaning. Was coconut oil chosen because it's everywhere on the islands, or because it was believed to carry protective properties? Some suggest the oil itself was sacred, a gift from the gods, making every tattoo a kind of blessing. The pain from these tools is immediate but strangely rhythmic. You find yourself settling into the tapping cadence, the repeated contact almost meditative. It's not just physical. The process is as much mental and spiritual, a shared experience between artist and subject. You notice that many tattoos are applied in stages over weeks or months. The ink needs to heal, the skin must adapt, and each new session builds upon the last. This slow, deliberate process reinforces the tattoo's significance. Nothing rushed, nothing frivolous. An intriguing fringe detail surfaces. Some elders believe that the particular type of coconut oil used can influence how the tattoo ages. Oil from freshly harvested nuts supposedly helps the ink stay sharp, while older oil makes it fade faster. Whether true or folklore, it shows a deep understanding of materials and care. The tools themselves are kept with reverence. Passed down through generations, they are sometimes decorated with carvings or tied with symbolic fibers. Using them is an honor and a responsibility. You also learn that these tools require regular sharpening and careful maintenance, like a musician tuning an instrument. An improperly sharpened thorn can cause excessive damage, ruining the delicate skin and risking infection. Speaking of infection, you ask how they avoid it without modern antiseptics. The answer lies partly in the coconut oil again, which has natural antibacterial properties, and partly in ritual cleansing. Before tattooing, both artist and subject bathe in herbal infusions, believed to purify body and spirit. Curiously, some tribes paint protective marks with turmeric or betel leaf juice after the tattoo session, sealing the wound and encouraging healing. These herbal remedies are a testament to indigenous knowledge still being uncovered. As you observe, the artist mixes ink and prepares her tools with calm precision. She dips the thorn, positions her hand, and taps in a series of dots. That will become a delicate fern pattern, a symbol of growth and resilience. You wince but remind yourself this is no salon manicure. This is history inked in flesh. Historians still debate the exact origins of the tattooing techniques used here, whether they evolved locally or were influenced by trade contacts with neighboring islands and seafaring cultures. Some believe the use of bone needles and soot inks echoes practices as far afield as Polynesia and Taiwan, hinting at ancient migratory links. For now, you sit quietly, feeling the thrum of your heartbeat matching the tapping rhythm, and wonder if you'll ever grow comfortable with this exquisite, painful art. Your skin, still tender from the tapping, begins the slow transformation as the ink settles beneath the surface. You can almost feel the stories knitting themselves into your flesh, like a silent narrative unfolding beneath your fingertips. Around you, the village moves with a steady hum. Laughter, children playing, the scent of cooking fires blending with salt and earth. The coconut oil that once soothed your skin now takes on another role. It's massaged daily into the fresh. Tattoos, a ritual as important as the tattooing itself. This isn't just a beauty routine, it's a sacred act. The oil helps the wounds heal, prevents cracking, and seals in the color. But more than that, it's said to keep the tattoos vibrant, as if feeding the ink with the island's lifeblood. You notice how the villagers pay close attention to their ink care, often applying fresh oil while humming ancestral songs. You overhear someone say that coconut oil carries the warmth of the sun and the spirit of the coconut palm, a protector against evil forces and skin ailments alike. Interestingly, the use of coconut oil in tattoo aftercare isn't unique to the Philippines. Polynesian cultures also swear by it, and scholars speculate about shared traditions across the Pacific. Historians still argue whether these practices evolved independently or spread through ancient voyaging networks connecting islands. While your skin tingles from the healing process, your mind wanders to the bigger picture. These tattoos, so intimate and painful, are also a form of social communication. Each design signals not just achievements or spiritual beliefs, but also kinship ties and community roles. You recall hearing about a unique tattooing practice among the Kalinga people of northern Philippines. Their tattoo artists, called Mambabatok, are more than mere craftsmen. They're keepers of culture and medicine. With each needle strike, they chant prayers and invocations, linking the tattooed individual to the land, ancestors, and spirits. 1. Elder once told you the ink itself contains a bit of magic. The coconut oil, combined with soot and herbs, is believed to strengthen the bond between the living and the divine. Even today, many believe a tattoo can protect from harm, ward off evil, and attract good fortune. A quirky fact you pick up: some tribes use coconut oil infused with other natural ingredients like crushed leaves of the Tawas plant, which has antiseptic properties, to further aid healing. The exact recipe varies from village to village, passed down orally through generations. You also hear whispers about a rare coconut variety, grown in volcanic soil, said to produce the richest, darkest oil, prized by tattoo artists for its superior qualities. No one outside the islands has ever gotten their hands on it, and locals guard the secret closely. The healing process isn't without its dangers. Without proper care, tattoos can become infected or fade prematurely. That's why the aftercare ritual is so vital, both practical and spiritual, a way to honor the ancestors and protect the body. You watch a young woman carefully applying oil to her husband's new tattoo, her fingers gentle but firm. Her movements are practiced, almost reverent, as if she's massaging history itself into his skin. Historians still debate how much of this ritualized care was influenced by pre-colonial beliefs versus adaptations introduced during Spanish colonization. Some argue the coconut oil's central role is an indigenous legacy, while others see traces of Catholic healing practices woven in. The air is warm and thick with smoke from nearby cooking fires as you sink deeper into the story. Your own skin feels alive with the gentle burn of healing ink and the cool balm of coconut oil, a sensory reminder that you are now part of a living tradition stretching back centuries. You can almost hear the soft tapping of the needle resuming. Somewhere nearby, a steady heartbeat marking time in this timeless place. You wander through the village marketplace, where the air hums with chatter and the scent of roasting fish mingles with ripe tropical fruits. Vendors proudly display carved wooden charms, woven baskets, and bottles of golden coconut oil, each bottle promising more than just nourishment, but a connection to age-old traditions. You pause at a stall where an elder sells handcrafted tattoo tools, his fingers tracing the grooves worn smooth by decades of use. This marketplace is more than commerce. It's the heartbeat of cultural transmission. You realize that tattooing isn't isolated to the ritual chamber or the village's sacred spaces. It seeps into daily life, touching everything from barter negotiations to social ceremonies. You overhear a conversation about the revered bulul figures, wooden statues, believed to embody rice spirits and the tattoos they bear. These figures, carved with patterns mirroring human tattoos, symbolize fertility and prosperity. It's a vivid reminder that the tattoo art here is deeply entwined with spirituality and survival. Curiously, some coconut oil bottles here are infused with fragrant herbs like sambong or kalabo, thought to enhance the oil's protective qualities. You're told that applying such oil before tattooing might ease pain or speed healing, though the practice varies widely. It's another layer of complexity that hints at the intimate knowledge of plant medicine in these communities. You recall how early European chroniclers described Filipino tattooing as both a physical and social rite, a blend of pain, pride, and protection. They marveled at how the tattoos marked achievements in battle, rites of passage, and even status within the hierarchy of the village. Historians still argue whether these tattoos predate or developed independently from similar traditions in Polynesia and Southeast Asia. Some believe the island's isolation fostered unique developments, while others point to ancient trade routes spreading both ink and ideas. Among the bustling crowd, you notice a group of young men showing off new tattoos. Bold, bands circling their wrists and upper arms. They speak excitedly about upcoming festivals where their inked skin will be on proud display, signaling their readiness to marry or assume leadership roles. The social stakes of tattooing are high. It's not just about decoration, but about identity and belonging. In some tribes, failing to acquire the proper tattoos could mean exclusion from important social events, or even diminished respect. You pause to examine a carved wooden box holding finely polished coconut oil containers, each adorned with miniature tattoos carved into their surfaces, a beautiful tribute to the art and its deep roots. The artisans clearly celebrate their craft's sacred history. A playful thought crosses your mind. These tattoos aren't just ancient body art. They're the original social media, a visible profile telling stories, flaunting achievements, and connecting individuals to community and ancestry. No hashtags needed. Later, you hear a local storyteller recount a tale about a tattooed warrior who used his inked skin to recognize allies on the battlefield. The patterns weren't just symbols, but served practical functions, a form of coded communication. There's even a quirky legend about a coconut oil blend said to grant the wearer temporary invisibility during hunting trips. An exaggeration, of course, but a charming example of the lore woven into everyday life. The marketplace fades into the background as you reflect on the layered significance of tattoos and coconut oil here, a potent fusion of art, medicine, and meaning. The sun dips lower, casting a golden glow across the jagged coastline, and you find yourself drawn to a quiet beach where elders gather around flickering fires. They speak in low tones about the ancient ways, rituals, and secrets that have passed down through countless generations. Here, the sacred role of the tattoo artist is honored as both an artist and a healer, a keeper of wisdom whose knowledge extends far beyond the needle. You learn that tattoo artists are chosen carefully, often after years of apprenticeship. Their hands must be steady, their hearts pure, and their knowledge deep, not just of tattoo patterns but of herbs, oils, and spiritual rites. Coconut oil, again, plays a central role, not only in preparing ink, but as a key ingredient in healing balms and protective anointments. One elder shares a story of a master tattooist who could read a person's character and fate by the shape of their skin and the way their muscles tensed. Before starting a tattoo, he would select specific coconut oils infused with herbs like tawa-tawa or niyog-niyogan, believed to ease pain and guard against infection. The choice of oil was as important as the design itself. The tattooing ceremony itself is a profound communal event. Friends and family gather, chanting ancestral songs and invoking blessings. The rhythmic tapping of the thorn against skin echoes, like a heartbeat blending with the singing. You realize this isn't just body art. It's a spiritual journey, a rite of passage linking the individual to their people and the divine. You notice how each coconut oil preparation is unique, a recipe guarded like a family heirloom. Some artists add crushed bark from the duha tree, or leaves of lawag, creating blends tailored for different stages of tattooing, from initial ink application to healing and long-term care. A quirky detail arises. Some tattoo artists believe that the coconut oil's scent can influence the success of a tattoo session. A pleasant aroma encourages a calm mind and steady hand, while a sour smell warns of bad luck or illness. These beliefs blend the tangible with the mystical, showing how deeply intertwined the practice is with worldview. Historians still debate the origins of these herbal blends and their potential medicinal effects. Some suggest early Filipinos had sophisticated botanical knowledge, using coconut oil as a carrier to deliver antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory compounds into the skin. You recall a tale of a tattoo apprentice who nearly fainted during his first session, but was revived by an elder's application of a special coconut oil infused with calachuchi flower essence. The story underscores the profound respect for both the physical and spiritual challenges of tattooing. As night deepens, you feel the pulse of history and life in this ancient craft, carried through generations by hands skilled in both art and healing. The coconut oil, once just a simple tree product, reveals itself as a vital lifeline, a bridge between skin and spirit. You glance down at your own still healing tattoos and feel a newfound appreciation for the invisible work happening beneath the surface, an ancient, living tradition nourished by nature's gifts and human devotion. The dawn breaks soft and pink over the village, and you wake to the scent of salty sea air mingled with the faint aroma of coconut oil lingering on your skin. Today, you're invited to witness the next phase of tattooing, the sacred washing and oiling ceremony, a ritual steeped in layers of meaning and care. The freshly inked skin is cleaned gently with warm water and soft cloths soaked in herbal infusions. You watch as the villagers use leaves of the sambong plant, known for its antiseptic properties, to wipe away dried blood and ink residue. The act is slow and deliberate, almost reverent, as if cleansing more than just the surface. Next comes the application of coconut oil, the ritual's star ingredient. The oil glides smoothly, cooling your warm skin and sealing in the ink. There's a faint glisten, like the surface of calm water at sunset. This oil isn't just a balm, it's a protector, a healer, and a symbol of life's continuity. You learn that the choice of coconut oil varies by the tattoo's stage. Fresh tattoos require cold-pressed, unrefined oil, thick and rich, to soothe and nourish. Older tattoos are treated with lighter, sometimes infused oils designed to keep the skin supple and the ink vibrant. A quirky fact you overhear: some elders recommend adding a few drops of honey or crushed garlic to the oil for its antimicrobial benefits. Others swear by a touch of lime juice to brighten the ink, a surprising contrast to modern tattoo aftercare, which forbids such acidic substances. The ritual isn't just about healing, it's a social event. Friends and family gather, sharing stories and laughter, singing softly as they massage the oil into each other's skin. This collective care deepens bonds and reinforces community identity. You recall that early anthropologists noted how tattoo aftercare in these cultures was as important as the tattooing itself, an ongoing dialogue between body, spirit, and society. Unlike today's often solitary tattoo experience, this is immersive and communal. Historians still argue about how these practices evolved post-colonization. Did Spanish influence diminish or transform indigenous care rituals? Some evidence suggests a resilient preservation of tradition, while other aspects adapted subtly to new beliefs and materials. Meanwhile, the scent of coconut oil mixed with herbal infusions fills the air, mingling with the ocean breeze, a sensory reminder that this is more than a craft. It's a living cultural tapestry. As you sit among the villagers, feeling the oil's cool touch and hearing the gentle songs, you realize the tattoo story is not just etched in your skin, but woven into the very fabric of this island's life. The days blend into one another as your tattoos continue to heal, and you find yourself growing attuned to the rhythms of this island life. The sun warms your skin, now etched with bold black patterns that begin to fade from rawness into something more permanent, a tapestry of identity slowly becoming a part of you. You wander to a nearby grove where towering coconut palms sway gently in the breeze. These trees, you realize, are the true heart of the tattoo tradition. Not only do their nuts produce the precious oil for ink and healing, but every part of the tree seems woven into island life, from woven baskets made from fronds to sturdy lumber for homes. You're told that the palms themselves are sometimes revered as ancestors or spirits, guardians of the community and keepers of ancient knowledge. This respect for the coconut palm is a recurring theme in the tattoo stories you've heard. Interestingly, some tattoo artists prefer oil from coconuts harvested at certain times of the year, during full moons or harvest festivals, believing this enhances the ink's power. This ties the tattooing process to the island's natural cycles and spiritual calendar, reinforcing the connection between body, nature, and cosmos. You also learn that coconut oil's role extends beyond tattoos, into traditional medicine and daily life. It's used to soothe sunburns, treat minor wounds, and even as a hair conditioner, a multi-purpose miracle from the palm. A quirky detail surfaces. In some villages, young men competing for status apply coconut oil before athletic contests, believing it improves strength and endurance. While there's no scientific proof, the ritual underscores how deeply ingrained the oil is in cultural practices. Historians still debate the extent to which coconut oil's sacred status predates colonial influence. Some argue it was primarily a practical resource that later gained symbolic significance. Others insist its spiritual importance is ancient and foundational. As you trace the tattoo lines on your arm, you marvel at how something as simple as oil and soot can carry such weight, marking not just skin, but stories, status, and survival. That evening, under a canopy of stars, you notice the villagers applying oil again, their hands moving in practiced rhythms. The light catches the glistening tattoos, making them look alive, like living maps of memory and meaning. You catch yourself smiling, realizing this ancient art and its humble coconut oil have quietly reshaped your understanding of tradition, pain, and beauty. You find yourself drawn into a circle of elders sharing stories as twilight deepens, their voices weaving tales of warriors, lovers, and sacred rites, all marked by the tattoos that adorned their bodies. Their inked skin tells more than history. It's a living archive of triumphs, failures, and spiritual journeys. Among these stories, one stands out: the tale of a legendary tattoo artist who mastered not only the physical craft, but the spiritual dimension of his work. He was said to blend coconut oil with rare volcanic ash, creating ink that could supposedly heal wounds and protect against curses. While the science behind this is questionable, the lore persists, a testament to the magic woven into tattoo tradition. The villagers speak of how tattoos were more than decoration. They were passports to adulthood, symbols of courage earned through acts of bravery or endurance. You're told of a warrior whose tattoos grew darker with each battle, a visible tally of his deeds, a living legend walking among his people. Interestingly, the process of tattooing was also believed to transfer strength and wisdom from the artist to the recipient, a kind of energetic exchange facilitated by the coconut oil, which was seen as a conduit for spiritual power. A quirky note: some tattoo patterns are deliberately asymmetrical or imperfect, meant to confuse evil spirits or mislead bad luck, adding a layer of mystical defense to the inked skin. Historians still argue about the extent to which these spiritual beliefs influence the technical aspects of tattooing. Did ritual precede technique, or did practical experience shape spiritual meanings over time? It's a lively debate in academics. Circles. Meanwhile, coconut oil remains central, used not only for healing, but as an offering to ancestral spirits during tattoo ceremonies, emphasizing its sacred status. This dual role blurs lines between medicine, art, and religion in a way that fascinates you. As the fire flickers low and stars pepper the night sky, you reflect on the intimate connection between the body, the ink, and the unseen forces that the coconut oil symbolizes. Your own tattooed skin feels warmer now, as if infused with the spirit of the stories shared and the ancestral blessings whispered on the island breeze. The village awakens to the soft hum of morning rituals, and you join the locals as they prepare for a traditional festival celebrating their ancestors and the enduring art of tattooing. The air buzzes with excitement, drums beating steadily, and voices lifted in harmonious chants that echo through the palm groves. You notice that every tattooed person here takes special care this morning, their skin gleaming with freshly applied coconut oil. It's more than mere maintenance. It's a sacred act of renewal and respect, a way of honoring both the past and present. The festival itself is a vivid tableau of color, sound, and ritual. You watch as tattoo artists perform live demonstrations, their hands expertly wielding the bamboo needles dipped in soot mixed with coconut oil. Spectators gasp and cheer, honoring the pain endured and the stories inked in flesh. Interestingly, some younger villagers have started experimenting with new designs, modern motifs blended with traditional patterns, sparking debates about preserving authenticity versus embracing change. You overhear that coconut oil remains the constant, a bridge between old and new, ensuring that even contemporary tattoos retain a link to ancestral practices. This mix of tradition and innovation is a fascinating evolution to observe. A quirky anecdote: a local artist jokes that the coconut oil is the original tattoo filter, giving every design a natural glow that no Instagram effect can match. The crowd laughs, but the truth resonates. Historians still debate how colonialism and globalization have influenced tattooing practices in the Philippines. Some argue these forces diluted indigenous arts, while others point to a resilient resurgence fueled by pride and cultural reclamation. The festival also includes rituals, where coconut oil is poured over sacred stones and statues, reinforcing its spiritual potency beyond the skin. This symbolic gesture underscores the oil's deep-rooted role in community identity. As the sun sets, the crowd gathers around bonfires, sharing stories and songs. The tattoos gleam softly in the firelight, alive with history, pain, pride, and the subtle sheen of coconut oil, proof that this ancient tradition endures. You feel the weight of this legacy settling on your own skin, a quiet reminder that you carry more than pigment. You carry generations. The morning mist clings to the coconut palms as you wander toward a secluded cove, where an elder awaits to share the secrets of tattoo ink preparation. His hands, weathered and steady, guide you through the process, collecting soot from burnt bamboo and mixing it with freshly pressed coconut oil in a wooden bowl. This isn't just any oil, it's carefully chosen from the first cold-pressed batch of the season, prized for its purity and rich texture. The elder explains how the oil's fatty acids bind the soot, creating a pigment that penetrates the skin deeply while nourishing and protecting it. You watch as he taps the mixture with a bamboo stick, explaining that the right consistency is key. Too thick, and the ink clogs the needles. Too thin, and it fades quickly. The coconut oil's natural viscosity provides the perfect balance, making it the indispensable medium for ink making. Curiously, some tribes add secret ingredients: powders from crushed seashells, charcoal from sacred trees, or even crushed coral. These are believed to imbue the tattoo with specific powers or protection. The elder smiles mysteriously when asked about these, offering little more than a knowing glance. You learn that tattoo ink recipes are closely guarded family secrets, passed down orally through generations. Each artist's blend is unique, reflecting personal experience and local environment. A quirky fact: coconut oil's antimicrobial properties may have helped reduce infections, though historians still debate how much early Filipinos understood this scientifically versus viewing it as spiritual protection. This blending of practical and mystical knowledge fascinates you. The art of tattooing here is as much science as it is ceremony. As the elder dips a thorny bamboo needle into the ink, you feel the weight of centuries in his hands. The rhythm of tapping begins, a steady, hypnotic sound that carries with it the promise of transformation. You're reminded again that this isn't just ink on skin, it's history, identity, and healing, all bound together by the humble coconut oil that makes it possible. The afternoon sun filters through the palm fronds, warming your skin as you join a group preparing for a tattoo ceremony deep within the forest. The air is thick with the scent of earth, coconut oil, and burning incense, creating a heady atmosphere of anticipation and reverence. You notice how every participant's skin gleams with layers of coconut oil, applied not just for healing but as a protective barrier against insects and the elements. It's a practical detail wrapped in cultural meaning, keeping the body safe while the spirit embarks on its transformation. The ceremony begins with a prayer to the Anito, ancestral spirits believed to guide and protect. Coconut oil is poured onto the ground as an offering, symbolizing the life force of the palm tree and the connection between earth and flesh. The tattoo artist takes up his tools, a bamboo needle dipped in soot and coconut oil, and begins the ritual tapping, the sound echoing through the forest like a heartbeat. The recipient's breath deepens, matching the rhythm, entering a trance-like state. You watch as the ink sinks beneath the skin, carried by the coconut oil's gentle, penetrating touch. It's a dance of pain and healing, tradition and personal transformation. A quirky detail emerges. Some believe that the specific coconut oil used during the ceremony must come from a coconut harvested by a virgin, an idea symbolizing purity and spiritual potency. While not universally practiced, it adds a layer of mystique to the ritual. Historians still debate whether such beliefs originated independently or were influenced by later religious practices introduced during colonization. The blend of indigenous and foreign elements creates a rich tapestry of meaning. You reflect on how the coconut oil's role transcends simple utility. It's a sacred medium, a bridge connecting body, spirit, and community. As the sun begins to set, casting long shadows over the forest floor, the ceremony closes with a collective chant, the coconut oil shimmering softly on the freshly inked skin. You feel honored to witness this ancient rite, carried on through generations, nourished by nature's gifts and human devotion. Night descends softly over the island, and you're led to a quiet hut where a small gathering prepares for a storytelling session. The flicker of candlelight dances over the walls, illuminating tattoos that shimmer faintly, still tender from recent ceremonies and cared for with coconut oil. The storyteller begins recounting legends of ancient tattoo artists who were also shamans, keepers of wisdom who bridged the seen and unseen worlds. Their tattoos were not merely symbols, but living conduits of ancestral power, energized by the sacred coconut oil that accompanied each mark. You learn that coconut oil was often mixed with fragrant herbs during these ceremonies, believed to attract benevolent spirits and repel malevolent ones. The scent filled the air like a protective shield, wrapping each tattooed individual in spiritual armor. An intriguing detail surfaces. Some tribes believed the coconut oil could activate the tattoo's power over time, meaning the ink would glow faintly or move under the skin during significant moments, like rites of passage or spiritual encounters. While this sounds like folklore, it reveals the profound reverence for tattoos as living entities. Historians still debate the extent to which such mystical beliefs shaped tattoo techniques. Did shamans influence the patterns chosen, or did the art evolve separately from spiritual practices? The dialogue between art and ritual remains complex and layered. You're reminded of earlier tales, like the volcanic ash ink or the coconut oil offerings, seeing how these elements weave together into a rich, dynamic tradition. The storyteller's voice softens, and you feel a deep connection to these ancestral echoes, carried through the coconut oil's smooth touch and the ink's bold patterns. As you close your eyes, the gentle aroma of coconut oil lulls you, blending with the rhythmic chanting, carrying you deeper into the island's timeless embrace. Dawn breaks again, and the village is alive with quiet preparation. Today, you witness a master tattoo artist teaching apprentices the delicate balance of tradition and innovation. The young trainees watch intently as the elder demonstrates the bamboo needle's angle and the precise blending of soot and coconut oil for the ink. You notice the respect with which coconut oil is handled, never wasted, always applied with intention. It's a sacred substance, binding generations through its nourishing qualities and spiritual significance. The apprentices practice on coconut, husks, and banana leaves before moving to skin, learning to respect both the craft and the person receiving the tattoo. Mistakes are met with gentle correction, and humor lightens the intense focus, a reminder that even ancient arts grow and evolve. A quirky observation. One apprentice jokes that the coconut oil doubles as a tattoo lube, making the process smoother, but occasionally causing unintentional slips that leave unexpected marks. Laughter ripples through the group, showing how the tradition is alive and playful. You reflect on how coconut oil's natural properties, antimicrobial, moisturizing, and soothing, make it an ideal companion for tattooing, long before modern science confirmed these benefits. Historians still argue whether early colonial contact introduced new oils or influenced existing practices, but it's clear coconut oil remained central, a resilient link to cultural identity. As the apprentices apply oil to finished tattoos, you see the glow on their skin, a testament to care, skill, and the enduring power of tradition. You feel the quiet satisfaction of witnessing knowledge passed down, the coconut oil's smooth touch bridging past and future in each gentle stroke. The cycle continues, rooted in the earth, flowing through palms, and etched forever in skin. The sun sets low, casting a golden glow over the village as you prepare for your final moments. Immersed in this timeless tradition, your skin, now fully healed and shimmering with the protective sheen of coconut oil, feels like a living testament to the journey you've shared with these ancient Filipino tattoo artists. You reflect on how this practice transcends mere decoration or pain. It's a profound dialogue between nature and human spirit, bound by the humble coconut palm and the black soot that transforms flesh into story. The village elders remind you that every tattoo carries a responsibility to honor ancestors, uphold community values, and embrace the wearer's evolving identity. The coconut oil you've come to know so well isn't just a healing balm, it's a symbol of continuity, care, and cultural pride. A quirky tidbit to leave you with. Some say the coconut oil's scent can still be detected on the skin years later, a subtle reminder that your story remains alive, carried in the skin's glow and the palm's blessing. Historians continue to debate the precise origins and transformations of these tattooing practices, but one thing is clear: the intertwining of ink, oil, and ritual forms a vibrant thread in the fabric of Filipino heritage. As the village lights flicker on, and the gentle rustle of palm leaves accompanies your thoughts, you feel a serene connection, not just to the island, but to a lineage that flows as surely as the coconut's oil through your veins. You realize that though your time here ends, the stories and secrets of these ancient tattoo artists remain etched in your memory, just as their ink remains in your skin.